People who don't play games sometimes find it hard to understand. It's just a game, they might say, and technically you're right. But what you actually lived inside was a feeling of curiosity, of momentum, of being someone moving through a world that had texture and stakes and meaning. And now that feeling is gone, and the screen has gone dark, and you're just sitting in your room again. What makes it stranger is that you chose this. You kept playing, you kept pushing forward because you wanted to see it through. There's something a little bittersweet about the fact that the very act of loving a game, of seeing it to its end, is also what ends it. The closer you get, the shorter the road ahead, and some parts of you, without thinking about it, starts to slow down. One more side quest, one more conversation, one more night in this town before I have to leave. It's not so different from finishing a book you loved, or reaching the last episode of a show you've been rationing carefully. But games have something extra in them: agency. You weren't watching someone else make choices, you were making them. That character, in some quiet way, was you. Their home was somewhere you actually walked through. Their friends were people you sat beside and talked to. And when it ends, you can't help but feel the particular loneliness of someone who has come home to find the lights off. That sadness also has something to do with time. Games take weeks, sometimes months of your evenings. They become a rhythm, something to come back to after a long day. Something that held a little shape and colour when the rest of life felt grey. Finishing one is the end of a small era. You remember roughly where you were in life when you played it, who you were with and weren't with, what the weather was like outside. Games carry this memory the way songs do, not of the fiction, but of the person who lived through it. There's also something worth saying about the specific texture of a world that was built just to be experienced. Every village, every piece of music, every line of dialogue. Someone decided what the light should look like in the late afternoon, what the wind should sound like through the trees, what a particular character should say when you've been away too long. And for a while, all of that effort became your reality. You moved through someone else's imagination as if it were solid ground. When the game ends, all of that craft goes quiet. The village is still there. Technically, you could load it back up, walk through the same streets, but it wouldn't be the same. You know that. The story is done. The people have said what they came to say. You'd just be a ghost wandering around after the party's ended. And that's a lonelier feeling than not going back at all. That's a strange thing to sit with. Most of the time, the places we leave change without us. Cities shift, people move, rooms get repainted. But a game world is perfectly preserved. Everything is exactly where you left it. The fire is still burning in that tavern. The sun is still setting over those hills. The dog is still waiting by the door. It will all wait there, patient and unchanging, for as long as the hardware holds. And somehow that makes it more poignant, not less. You changed, it didn't. You're the one who had to grow up and finish the story and walk back out into the world. There's a reason so many people talk about their favourite games with the same warmth they talk about places they've lived. Not visited, lived. There's a difference. You don't just remember what something looked like. You remember how it felt to be there, habitually over time. You remember the rhythms of it, the shortcuts you discovered, the parts that felt like home. Some games earn this particular kind of ending sadness by being generous with you throughout. They give you time, they let you wander. They don't rush you towards the conclusion, but instead offer a whole world to get lost in, trusting that you'll find your way when you're ready. When a game like this ends, the grief is proportional to the gift. You were given something spacious, and now the space has closed. Other games earn it differently, through sheer emotional intensity, through characters you came to care about more than you expected to, through a story that said something true about being alive. These are the ones that leave you staring at the ceiling for a while after. Not sad exactly, something more like moved, rearranged, like the game quietly shifted something around inside you while you weren't paying attention, and now the furniture is in a slightly different place. Either way, the feeling is telling you something. It's telling you that the experience was real in a way that matters. that it reached you. Most things we do with our free time don't leave a mark. We watch, scroll, half listen, drift, but some things actually land. They take up residence, and when they're over, the space they occupy doesn't immediately fill back in. It stays empty for a little while, and you feel the shape of it. Some people start a new game right after, chasing the feeling while it's still warm. Others need a few days, a little mourning period, because they can open another door. Some go back and just walk through for a while, not doing anything in particular, just visiting. None of these are wrong, they're just different ways of handling the fact that something ended that you didn't entirely want to end. What I keep coming back to is how quiet the whole thing is. Nobody much talks about this kind of sadness. It doesn't fit neatly into conversation. You can't really explain to someone why you feel a little low today because you finished a game last night. It sounds small, but it isn't. It's the feeling of having been somewhere real enough to miss. You sit there a moment longer. After the credits, the music fades, you put the controller down, and you carry the game with you into the rest of the week. A small weight in your chest that, if you're honest, you're glad to have.
Damn, Holmes, you're huge. Work out? Same here, in the ring. You do some kind of exotic shit? Huh? Kempo? Ninjutsu? Think you could take me? Drop me?
In here.
Este pinche tipo.